I am Venkatathriya. I started my journey to Singapore from Chennai International Airport by Air India flight. Reached Singapore Changi Airport. My stay was at Chinatown. I travelled from airport to Chinatown in MRT Metro. Singapore is a well-planned country. MRT is connected to all the stations and tourist places. With the help of the map, a solo traveller can easily travel in Singapore. Singaporeans are very friendly and hospitable. They guide and help the tourists. The signboard in all the MRT stations is written in 4 languages: English, Chinese, Malay and Tamil. MRT functions from 5:30 am to midnight.
The Singapore Zoo, formerly known as the Singapore Zoological Gardens or Mandai Zoo, and now commonly known locally as the Singapore Zoo, occupies 28 hectares, on the margins of Upper Seletar Reservoir within Singapore's heavily forested central catchment area. The zoo was built at a cost of $9 million, granted by the Government of Singapore, and opened on the 27th of June 1973. It is operated by Wildlife Reserves Singapore, who also manage the neighbouring Night Safari, River Safari and the Jurong Bird Park. There are about 315 species of animal in the zoo, of which some 16% are considered to be threatened species. The zoo attracts over 2 million visitors every year. From the beginning, Singapore Zoo followed the modern trend of displaying animals in naturalistic, open exhibits with hidden barriers, moats, and glass between the animals and visitors. It houses the largest captive colony of orangutans in the world. The conception of the Singapore Zoo dates from 1969. At the time, the Public Utilities Board decided to use some of its land holdings around reservoirs for parks and open recreational facilities. The executive chairman of the pub, Dr. On Swee Law, set aside 220 acres of land for the construction of a zoological garden. Located on the northwestern side of the island, the Singapore Zoo is a haven for wondrous wildlife and a must-visit for animal lovers. This beloved establishment first opened its gates to the public in 1973, and has since become one of the best rainforest zoos in the world. Besides being home to over 2,800 animals from 315 species, including crocodiles, Malayan tapirs and white tigers, the zoo has won a trove of international and local awards.
The National Museum of Singapore is the oldest museum in Singapore. Its history dates back to 1849, when it was started as a section of a library at Singapore Institution and called the Raffles Library and Museum. After several relocations, in 1887 it moved to its permanent site at Stamford Road in the museum planning area. The museum focuses on exhibits related to the history of Singapore. It is one of 4 national museums in the country, the other 3 being the 2 Asian Civilization Museums at Empress Place Building, and Old Town and School, and the Singapore Art Museum. It was named the National Museum of Singapore in 1965. Between 1993 and March 2006, it was known as the Singapore History Museum. The National Museum of Singapore underwent a 3.5-year restoration, and reopened on the 2nd of December 2006, with the official reopening by former President of Singapore Mr. S.R. Nathan, and the Minister for Information, Communications and the Arts taking place on the 7th of December 2006. The Singapore History Gallery opened on the 8th of December 2006.